Canes fans, what's going on? Peter Ariz here, coming at you with another edition of CanesInSight Live. Very excited about this episode tonight. Have not really a new guest. I guess you could call him a new guest for this version of CanesInSight Live, but really, he's an OG to this YouTube page, a guy who's doing awesome things on his page, 365 Canes Football on YouTube, 365 Canes Info on Twitter, and you can find him on Instagram as well. I'm about to bring him in here in a second. Stevo, welcome to the show, my brother. How you doing?
What's good, CanesInsight family? It's great to be back. Great to be back.
Yeah, man. Like I said, you pretty much got the page off the ground, right? And you know, you were doing your live show on CanesInsight's page for a while, and you're doing awesome work now. Nobody does breakdowns the way you do them. So Canes fans, if you're not familiar with Stevo's work, I know a lot of you guys have maybe seen him on social media and whatnot, but go check out his YouTube page, 365 Canes Football. He does very detailed game breakdowns. The recruit breakdowns are awesome, right? Because you're sitting there looking at these guys' huddle film, and I think that's awesome for the fans to see. You know, you have the recent commits there, Armando Blunt and Wade and Charles as well. So Canes fans, go check out his work. We'll talk about a lot of this stuff that you've already done detailed breakdowns on. But Canes fans, I'm telling you, if you have anything X's and O's wise, right, hit the comment section, drop the questions for Stevo, and we'll get to it as we can, man.
Hell yeah, excited, super excited. It's exciting time to cover the Canes. You know, last year wasn't the best for me in my line of work. It was bad tape to look at. So it's been great, positive vibes all year this year, baby.
And I mean, it's got to be cool for you because, look, there's obviously new personnel all across the board, right? Especially starting on the offensive side of the ball, right? That O-line is completely revamped, but you still have the centerpiece of the offense, Tyler Van Dyke, who I know you're a huge fan of, just watching a lot of your breakdowns. But the receivers, the main guys who are stepping up it's the same guys that this team had last year, really. So for you, seeing a lot of the bad stuff last year, understanding that a lot of it was schematic stuff, right? And you seeing your frustrations, it's got to be nice to see the way that Shannon Dawson has completely flipped it this year.
It's crazy because I'm always one to preach that, hey man, this receiver core is nice. I've seen Jacoby George do it his entire life, just ball, trains with gold feet. Same with X, like that's my boy, this fam. Like they just need the opportunity for this to happen. I tell Canes fans all the time, if Lashley didn't leave, you would have saw this in 2022. Like literally, you would have saw this in 2022. Guys making plays on the outside, TVD, dropping back in the pocket. Wouldn't have been to this magnitude with the offensive line, but it would have been, at least the playmaking that we saw when he was here with that type of offense. So just the opportunity, the excitement that Coach KB brings to that room, and then honestly the whole offense. They've been ballers. Like that's why fans can't always look at everything black and white. There's a lot of gray area in football, man. A lot of these guys are balling now. That you were saying, hey, let's move on. Let's get this other guy. Like let's get these guys in a system that fits them. Let them work. TVD was probably the most scrutinized player, and obviously his performance wasn't well. But I mean, you just had to really think about what's going on. And the five bodies on O-line, the O-line being revamped is everything. Right. But the best thing about it is, Matt Lee and Cohen, yes, they're big transfer portal additions, but, we recruited Jalen Rivers, and he's been here a while, and he's playing the best football he's ever played at left tackle. We recruited Inez Cooper, and look at what he's blossomed into. We recruited Francis. So, yeah, the two transfers that came in really solidified our line because Matt Lee's probably going to be an All-American, but the three that we recruited, I mean, you just have to be super happy. I know Jalen was the previous staff, but that's just great to see.
Listen, man, people transfer shame for some reason. I see Canes fans do it with FSU. That's just today's day and age of college football. You're going to have a mix of these guys, right? So that's just what it comes down to. And I'm curious. I know you're you train guys down here as well, and I know you work with a lot of receivers. It's not just that the scheme's better, but like these guys look physically faster. Coach Cristobal's talked about how they're like more explosive. Everyone can see the difference in Colby Young this year, for example. Obviously, X is healthy, but X has a little more, seems like he has a little more juice, right? You see Jacoby George as well. Looks like he's put on some good weight. So
Big bro.
physically, I mean, I think the improvement's been big time.
Yeah, it's year 2 in Coach Feld program, and that's really what it is. All the money and investment on the sports science and nutrition and the time and the catapult systems and this and this and that, all that stuff, and the cryogenic therapy so they can do more reps and more weight and all that stuff that we were all hyping up as the money started piling up, and then things started getting spent, and we started seeing where the dollars were going, and fans, we were going crazy. Hey, we got this, we got this, we got this. This is an accumulation of all that. So it gives them the best chance. That's why when you're recruiting in this, a facilities wars, because you're telling parents and athlete, you have the best tools here to take care of your investment, which is your body. And we can put you in position to put on everything you need to get to the next level. And you can better yourself like no other here. That's what everybody's selling. So that's why this is a major thing with facilities and all the stuff that we've done. This accumulation of, the off-season programs back to back now for a lot of this roster.
Yeah, no, the body types, as Coach Cristobal always talks about, but on Inez Cooper, obviously you put a lot of that on the kid, right? But at the same time, the resources are there, and he's following the plan that's being put out in front of him, which obviously is a great one. And if his trajectory keeps going like this, he will be a very high draft pick in the next couple of years. So, Steve, let's get into there's some questions piling up here. One from Fish Fan Miami, asking about using using the tight ends and the running backs in the passing game. Obviously, there's been some injury issues at the tight end spot, but what do you see there, and how do you think that could really evolve moving forward, because they haven't really been used that much yet?
Yeah, they've been dominant in the run game, so that leads me to believe you at somewhere down the line you got to throw them boys a bone. Like, you got to give them boys, like, there's no reason why Riley Williams isn't in the game. We don't try a fade ball to him or something like that when he's blocking his tail off. As a freshman, he's blocking one-on-one on the perimeter for screens. On these receiver screens, he's out there. McCormick is blocking 3 people on a play. They deserve to get a bone. McCormick had that big first down catch versus Texas A&M. He caught one little one for like 6 yards versus Bethune. So we haven't really used them, but when I did Shannon Dawson's review for his offense, he used the tight end. He uses tight ends. It's just the fact that our running game is really solidified with the blocking of our tight end. So that's just what's been the betterment of the team. I don't know if he's just saving that for an opponent or when we get into ACC play. I just think that that's just knowing your personnel. And if Cam McCormick is one of your best 11 and his best thing is blocking, then he has to go out there and play.
Yeah, when he was at Houston, they had a kid 85 over there, Trahan, who was a blocker, but he did, he was used in the receiving game a good amount as well. But if you hear what Coach Dawson said in his press conference this week about Riley Williams, I mean, he pretty much said he's the most talented guy he's been around at that position, which is like, I'm not saying he's coached Hall of Fame tight ends or anything like that, but that is saying a lot.
Yeah, I mean, when you see him in person, 6'7", every bit of it, is just a freak to see. And the way he has his movement skills, that's why he's out there blocking the way he's doing. I mean, he's as big as anybody out there, and he's a freshman and he can move. So Riley Williams deserves all the praise. I was talking to his dad. I told him I have something going on in the works here. I'm gonna have a video specifically on Riley that will definitely be on CIS. So we'll definitely get to that. I'm super excited about it. But his progress as a blocker tells me you have to throw him. I was screaming for a fade ball. He could have had a potential touchdown, honestly, versus Bethune. Pressure got there, and Emory had to get off it. But I need something schemed up for him because he definitely deserved it.
Well, I think that every week there's going to be different guys that start to emerge, right, in this offense and both sides of the ball. But like, could a Tyler Harrell be a guy that in the coming weeks going into ACC play. Now, eventually he gets in there and defense doesn't really, know much about him. He hasn't done much this season yet on film, but you better have in the scouting report that he has that vertical speed.
Yeah, nah, they're definitely ready for when 15 goes on. Every defense prepares for what type of speedster, what type of their fastest guy. Everyone would, especially at this level. But I definitely think people are really not, or us, they're not even thinking of this. But that rule change where the clock doesn't stop on first downs means so much less snaps for these guys. That's why in these past years where you could roll 90 snaps in a game, and yeah, your starting receivers aren't going to go past 60, 65, maybe 70 if they that guy. But that's like 30 other snaps for other receivers, at each position. So like people don't realize that rule change has significantly cut down on it. And that's because I train a lot of these kids. I got a lot of my kids that's freshmen sitting that shouldn't be. And we pissed about it, but we working. But like that's really what's going on. Even the coaches is telling them, like, hey, bro, like it's hard to get snaps right now. We in close games, like, keep working in practice. That's the message right now. So hopefully everybody.
And there's a lot of parity across college football, man. I mean, it's a lot of with the transfer portal, right? Guys who have moved on from their previous situations and maybe have a year or two under their belt. It's keeping a lot of true freshmen, from seeing significant snaps right now.
Yeah, it is.
Not just at Miami. I'm talking about across the
worldwide.
country.
Yeah, it is. And it's also affecting the recruiting because you have the 3 stars that would go, to G5, and now them boys holding off because they waiting for the P5 dropovers, them 4 stars that used to be in 2019. And it be pissing me off, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It do be pissing me off. I love how, it's been great for Miami and stuff like that, but I be seeing both sides. So it be hurting some of the kids out here.
Yeah, there's always going to be that effect. The people at the bottom are gonna feel the negative effects of it for sure. So it's not a perfect system without a doubt. Again, Canes fans, this is Stevo from 365 Canes Football on YouTube. Has awesome video breakdowns. Does the full games and then also does other videos that kind of key in on certain things. Stevo, a couple days ago, you put a video out on your page about Coach Dawson's tempo right now, what he's doing at Miami. And I want you to get into real quick, just, again, we want people to go out and watch the video, but how important is it? Everyone says up tempo, going fast, but how important is it to control that tempo, right? Because to be able to speed it up and then slow it down and then speed it up again is as important as anything, right?
Yeah, and then we've been masterful at it, to be honest. We've slowed it down at times. We could have played faster. We've huddled, but when we huddle, we clap and we run straight to the line. So it's still that same, animosity going towards it and about your business. But, we are milking it a little bit. So that's happened. And then you have to control that tempo. But when we needed to, especially like before halftime, that tempo's cranked up. Like, we ran the same play. Bethune-Cookman had 3 safety look, and we were able to get Brashard Smith over the top for a touchdown. And the way we did it was with our tempo, because people don't really understand when you're a safety and, you run this play and an X just running right across from you, tearing the hell out your DB in front of you. So you have to run over there and make a tackle, right? Then they get on the ball. It's not even like 30 seconds, 45 seconds in real time. X is going down on an out and up, and you're like, damn it. Next they're on the 40-yard line, and they just run that same play. Guess what? X crossing your face again. Your boy's getting beat again. What does he do? He sits there and looks at X. And what he did the first time was get back, and which is the weakness of a 3 high. When you have 3 safeties, this middle guy has to go down the middle because these guys are splitting. So if he sits on X, that's how Brashard got right over the top. So that's what tempo does. It makes people. It challenges their eye discipline because it's just that's what it is. The ball. There was not even a minute in real time. And this guy's seeing X just run past his face, and then finally he bit, and TVD was waiting on it.
And listen, I think TVD, you also had another video about him. Everyone sees the highlight throws, but he's doing a lot of really good manipulation at the line of scrimmage and then with his eyes setting things up downfield.
Oh yeah, his pre and post snap reads have all come together. What he's doing is it's easy. Whoever gets the one-on-one matchup, I want to give a big shout out still, even though it was a couple weeks ago, to Isaiah Horton. He was the one person on that play that had the one-on-one matchup, and TVD went there because that's what he's doing. That's what this offense is about. We're going for the one-on-one matchup, and he made that big play versus Texas A&M. But that's what it's all about. He looked that safety off. He went to that and launched that thing. He knew he was going to that freshman the whole time. It didn't matter. If it's your number, make the play. So I loved it. But yeah, TVD, his pre and post snap reads, he's killing them safeties, bro. Because they're most likely bracket in X. So you have your nickel and you have your safety over here. So anytime they try to disguise it, they're just getting beat. They can't handle Jacoby at the line of scrimmage. So if you play press on that side, that's stupid. And Kobe Young has just been a factor with his body. I mean, he's been breaking tackles. He had a bad game versus Bethune because he dropped the ball and then he had a catch fumble. What should have been a targeting, but still, it is what it is. But he's been bodying people, so I think it's. Oof, I could monologue. I could talk forever about it. But yeah, TVD is has the weapons and he's killing it.
Let's get into a few more questions here. John L asks, "Who is the best running back in the room in your eyes, and why?" That's a tough one.
I'm gonna always stick with it. I think Henry Parrish is our best running back because I think honestly the most consistent X factor on this team is his vision. Because when we need 3 yards, bro. Sometimes he makes the most beautiful cuts and moves to get 3 yards, bro. And he's like, damn, like that's like a highlight 3-yard play, bro. Like Henry Parrish is that guy.
He makes something out of nothing a lot of times where to the normal eye, like, look, I get it. People are trying to replace him because he's not the big bruising back. He's not a 4-3 guy, right? Like a Chris Johnson, but he just knows how to move the chains, right? And you can rely on him when it comes to the little things.
Yeah, his pass protection is insane. It's great for his size. I mean, you would think he's a big bruising back. His pass protection is great, but his vision, bro, the way he accelerates, he might not have 4-3 speed, but when he's going through that hole, bro, you was not getting him one-on-one. His elusiveness and his burst through the hole is that's it's the most consistent X factor we have. The passing game is coming along, but we saw Henry Parrish do this last year behind one of the worst offense lines we had. This year, the only thing stopping him from his Heisman campaign has just been splitting carries because every time he get the ball, he's been sliding. Think about the Texas A&M. His ankle's still out there on Hard Rock Field. Like, it's crazy. I for sure, I think it's Henry, even though I love the other backs, and shout out to all the other backs. But for me, top dog is 21.
Yeah, no, I'm with it. I mean, like I said, people are trying to replace him, overlook him, but his consistency is very, very tough to beat. And look, it's a great luxury to have that you have a room full of backs that all bring a different element to the table. But the O-line's making things easy for them. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the yards before contact. I mean, 4 or 5 yards before contact on the play. Like, and then all our guys are going to make the first guy miss. So, I mean, that's why the average is crazy. You would think, we're handing the ball off all game, but, Henry Parrish gets 10 carries and, he's going for 60, 70, 80 yards. A.J. Allen gets like 8 carries, scores 2 touchdowns. Mark Fletcher gets like 7 carries, he scored a long touchdown. And then Chaney, he'll work on like 5, 6 carries, and it's like, damn, Chaney dominated. You only really had 7 carries versus Bethune, but he just dominated on those 7 carries. It's just, the competition in that room is great. It's a great problem to have, honestly. It's the best problem to have.
Yeah, and look, we've seen in the last couple of years, they've had injury issues. Unfortunately, that's what happens at that position, but they're well suited this year, and all of them, knock on wood, that they all stay healthy. They're still all going to have a role.
Yeah, they do. Right now, obviously, leaning on the running game is been great, and they should have a role this upcoming week. It's going to be rainy up in Philly. Like, it's going to be a game where you need 4 backs and you're going to roll them. But thing I just thought about earlier, I should have mentioned it when we talk about the Feld and the program. What they've done with John Chaney has been amazing because he has looked good. Like, forget just the stats. He's stopping on a dime. He's cutting. He's moving. He's trucking. He made on a run versus Bethune-Cookman. It was like a 12-yard gain. He made like 3 cuts on that play. And I was like, okay, Don, He stopped at the line.
Yeah.
That Juker dude then burst through the hole, lowered his shoulder. I'm like, oh yes, Don. Like the way he's looking physically, I think that they are super happy with Don. And I give all the kudos to the medical staff and the rehab and all the coaches that have helped that happen. Because I seen him in spring and he didn't look that good. So not that he didn't look that good. He didn't look as good as he's looking right now.
He was, I think, as Coach Griswold said, he was still working himself back from the injury and getting himself back in the shape. But man, it's been D Money always talks about his jump cut, and that's that move that we're seeing. I mean, it's a weapon. And look, moving forward, I think his role is going to continue to be a big factor because he does bring that power punch to the table.
Yeah, I mean, he has it all. That's why fans have been craving him for so long. He has the speed, he has the power.
He's an NFL. I mean, he's an NFL. He's an NFL talent. He's an NFL talent without a doubt.
Yep. So everybody's gonna crave him, and it sucks. Our other NFL talent, he's shelved too, Trevante Citizen, but that gives me hope for how he can come back from an injury under this medical staff. Just seeing the way Chaney had 2 or 3 bad ones, ACL, a hip, this, shoulder, and he's looking great. So I'm actually more optimistic, and with the running back performance, knowing that we don't have to play Citizen right now, and then knowing, hey, if you give a guy time with this medical staff, he'll come back stronger than ever. I'm chilling. I think we're in a good spot. I feel way better about Citizen after seeing Chaney than I did before I saw Chaney.
And now that we're on the, not to get too far off the path, but on the topic of recovered from injuries, Chase Smith, he was flying around last week. I think Coach Guidry said by the end of the season, he's going to be heavily in that mix. I think everyone understands the talent level that he brings, was excited because he's that modern, long, rangy, can blitz, can cover. And obviously the injuries have gotten the best of him, but he looked big out there last week. And look, I'm sure a lot of the deceleration stuff is still, a work in progress with his recovery, but he looked good.
Yeah, I mean, he's a freak of nature. Ever since he was been playing ball, 6'3", 215, 220 something pounds, just honestly moving sideline to sideline. I hate to see him in a brace, but I just love to see him out there. So it hurts because I know, what's to come when he's through this injury. But it also excites because I know when he's earned those snaps, because Coach Mario will not just throw you out there just to, let's give him some reps. That means that he's coming along. And physically, we already know what he has and what he brings to the table. But as long as he can just continue to get reps, I've been telling everybody for a while, I thought he was our Mike linebacker of the future. And this staff is starting to see that as well. So, or at least project that as well, because he's taking Mike reps. So when it comes to if he's going to battle for playing snaps, this is a one-on-one for Corey Flagg to back up Kiko. So if anybody's snaps are going to get took from Chase, it'll be Flagg's. So we'll see how that battle goes.
Yeah, and Flagg it's going to be tough to take him from him right now because he's playing solid football and is, very high football IQ guy in the middle there. A question here from Gio about Isaiah Horton that we were talking about earlier. Does Horton have the ability to develop into the Colby role, big physical possession receiver, or is he more of a stretch the field type?
Yeah, so Isaiah's body type completely different, in my opinion. He has the height, which he uses to get his vertical stride going to go over the top. So like you saw versus Texas A&M, a little stutter and go. That defender couldn't recover because this dude's taking 3-4 yards of stride. I mean, you can't hawk that in. So that's what he does. He has to win at the line of scrimmage with his release and then get that long stride going downfield. So that's kind of more what he's like. But he definitely has physical possession receiver traits, as he can make tough catches. He can make body catches on the guy and box them out. He has the size for it. But he's definitely just a little bit more twitchier than a Colby Young, even though Colby's by the day is getting twitchier.
Definitely. Leonard Taylor, he's been a hot topic, Stevo.
Yeah.
It's a tough look. Everyone's expecting the sacks, right, and the flash plays as soon as you see the first round buzz and things of that nature. And he hasn't been perfect, right? But at that position, there's a lot that goes on that is beyond the stat sheet.
Yeah, he's actually been affecting the game. Like he had I think 1 or 2 games already this year where he is over a 90 grade in PFF. I mean, yeah, the sack numbers haven't been there, but if you see how fast quarterbacks are getting rid of the football against us, it's insane. Because Guidry, is bringing everybody. Everybody, our cornerback blitzes are insane. With Daryl Porter and Jaden Davis, the Broward County cornerback room with TC to complement. I've been telling people already, that's and all three of them are great at blitzing. So it's not even like what happens. Like Leonard Taylor's going through 2 people, and these guys are coming free off the edge. So I mean, like the opportunities for sacks in this system hasn't came yet. But as we start to play more Power 5 teams and they start trusting their O-line to do more passing concepts vertically and try to attack downfield like more Power 5 teams do, because obviously Bethune didn't really have that opportunity, even Miami, Ohio. Texas A&M tried at times, but and then we had defensive line, make plays in those type of situations. JHH is the guy who was making plays like that. So Mesidor was inside making plays like that. So we'll see as we continue to play, better talent of teams, more competition, ACC play for sure. We'll see how that plays out with some sacks and some, we probably don't blitz as much from the cornerback room. If you're playing like an explosive ACC offense, like you're not going to send much corners versus Louisville,
Man, that was I mean, one of the downfalls of Manny Diaz, and that's kind of like talking about the defense, right? We talked a lot of offense schematically and things of that nature, but like you used to always hear Manny wanted to send the blitz, right? He would try to disguise things. Everyone remembers right. That's what he would say though, right? When you look at what Guidry's doing, right? And the disguising that he's doing, bringing the corner blitzes, what is he doing differently than the previous couple defenses that we've seen in Miami?
Well, it's just more fundamentally sound football is being played. When you could tell when Manny's defense, when he was under Coach Mark Rick and he had everybody steered the right way and everybody one mind, one body, one vision, that type of defense could work because you have accountability. You can't have a defense where you're sending everybody, then somebody miss a tackle and there's no accountability. That can't happen. Like you have to have a better program than that. So we're in a better program right now, but it's just the attention to detail. We're not sending everybody to the point where there's nobody left just to do it. Like I felt like sometimes Manny just forced it just to do it. And obviously he didn't have the D-line play at times, but it just felt so forced at times just to try to be cute. It looked like he really was trying to be cute at times. Coach Guidry is going to do what he has to do. There were some times in the Texas A&M game where I thought maybe we played a little too soft, but like he called a great game. So, maybe he needed to just make sure that they didn't give up anything over the top for momentum and things like that. The games are inside the games, but Coach Guidry, accountability on defense, tackling has been awesome. And then just you could point out one player on each like level that's a backup and be like, yeah, he's played well. On D line, you could play at several. Ruben Bain's going to be a starter now with Akeem Mesidor likely to be out, but you could point at every level and be like, yeah, he's actually been an impact player. Look at D line. Jada Wayne made an impact. Payne's making an impact. JHH making an impact. Lichtenstein making an impact.
Thomas Gore came in there and made some plays against A&M late.
Yeah, exactly. Just across the board. Linebacker. We talked about Corey Flagg. He was starter for a couple of years, coming off the bench, not missing a beat, coming downhill, making plays. Chase Smith, another guy. Keontra's played good snaps. And on defense, Jaden Harris has stepped up in the absence of Cam. They've been rotating, even though I think I hate to say it, but they think they start rotating VP out there so much, boy, because that boy's 2 straps. But everybody's honestly, you could say, there's been people making plays. Damari, a freshman, flashing. Like every position, you could look past the starter and be like, damn, there's reasons for optimism.
No, listen, not there yet, not championship level depth just yet at certain spots, at most spots, but it's getting much closer to where it needs to be without a doubt. Stevo, anything stick out from Temple and what you've seen Obviously, a lot of talk about Kurt Warner's son, EJ Warner, at quarterback. Anything there offensively? I think Mario was talking about they had some speed on the outside. I know that Dante Wright kid, I remember him from Colorado State a couple years ago. He's a Florida boy. I remember him having some juice.
Yeah, he got gas.
So anything else that you've seen from them that would potentially cause some issues?
Yeah, I'm full like football ready mode. I almost cracked on the hell out of Kirk Warner's son. I'm gonna keep that comment to myself. But he's not bad, but they do have some talent to stretch the field. But man, their offensive line is horrific. I mean, horrific. They look like us last year. It is horrific. They're not gonna have time to do anything. I feel bad, if anything, for Mr. Warner. And I just hope he gets out okay. Because bro,
same thing on the other side of the ball. Their trenches don't look very
very
good.
That's and for a G5 Temple, they've been good. Honestly, that's why their head coaches keep getting plucked. They've been good, but this doesn't look like their best roster.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, 24.5 points is the spread from what I saw. I think that'll be. What'd you say?
Did I freeze or I'm tripping?
I think I hear you, but you're frozen here. So I don't know if you want to try to hop out and come back in. So as we wait to get Stevo back on here, Canes fans, remember to check out CanesInSight.com, completely free. The forums are always buzzing, and D-Money always dropping his recruiting scoop on the bank. Had a podcast earlier this week with Tony Fitzpatrick, 1983 national championship. That was an awesome episode. Getting him, his insight coming down here in spring practice. So great conversation with him. Check that out. Posted it a couple days ago. We're going to bring Stevo back on here in just a second. Titanic Restaurant and Brewery, Canes Insight Watch Party this weekend for the Temple game. $1 wings, $1 jumbo shrimp. Best game time deal in town. Promise you do not want to miss it. It's going to be a big party out there on Saturday, 3:30, of course, Miami against Temple. Stevo, we have you back here as you froze for a second.
Sir. I'm back.
There he is. Kane, Idaho, showing love, man.
What's good?
Don't miss Stevo's breakdown videos.
Thank you, fam. I appreciate you.
Yeah, guys. So Stevo, again, a lot of the stuff we're talking about here, he gets into in more detail on his YouTube page. You can follow him as well on what's your Instagram?
365 Canes Football.
Yes, so 365 Canes Football there, YouTube, and then 365 Canes Info on Twitter.
Yes, sir. And a lot of great content to come out because there's just great product on the field.
Let's talk about the recruiting side a little bit right now, Stevo. I mean, from this recruiting class, who are your guys right now? Who are the 2-3 guys that early on in the season, right, as their senior seasons progress, are you already saying they're impact players right off the bat when they step on campus?
Ooh, that last little part changed my mind because he got a lot of depth to go past. I was gonna go Hellcat, just because people always want to talk about dropping Hellcat. I'm like, y'all out y'all damn mind. This guy.
So this is Chris Wheatley Humphrey for those. It's Wheatley Humphrey, right? Or Humphrey?
Yes, sir.
Humphrey
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Chris Wheatley Humphrey, running back out of Broward County, committed to Miami.
Bro.
So
when you seen CJ versus like Bethune, that type of speed, he got that type of speed, and like it's different. And he get 10, 12 touches a game, 4 touchdowns, 200 yards. He's sitting by the second quarter. I mean, he doesn't go against small schools. He's at South Broward. He played nothing but Broward County public schools, like just tearing them boys up. If you ever see a highlight tape of Hellcat, the reason why they call him Hellcat is because it always ends in a touchdown and a foot race. It's never fair. I'm talking about his senior year he's exploding. And I just wanted to say that because, you know, a lot of fans that like another player at running back, and I feel like they're tripping because a family friend of him tells me that Coach Harris, you know, our running back coach, is all over him, texts him every day, calls him every day like he hasn't committed. So I think they value that speed and playmaking ability too. Two running back set with him and Chris Johnson, it's over.
I mean, that's scary. I mean, you can't have any linebackers on the field.
Yeah. Then you got Robbie, Ray, you know, O'Hara or Shamar Kirk. It's over. The future of that speed on offense is going to be a NASCAR package.
No, definitely. It's and guys, for those listening, Stevo's you're a Broward dude, so you're
Yes,
know kind
sir.
of plugged in up there when it comes to, you know, he's watching it, he's out there, he's, you know, at these camps, at these games, so he sees these guys in person. I'm with you. He's what, a 3-star right now, so you know how that
Yeah.
goes. That, you know, kind of clouds a lot of people's judgment when it comes to this stuff.
A lot of
But
teams wanted him to play corner. That's why. But he's a ball player.
definitely. And look, that's not to say that may not be the best business decision down the line, the way that the running back situation is going in the NFL and the way the
That's
corners get
true.
paid.
That's
But,
true.
I mean, I'm with you, man. I think that he's not a guy who's going to get dropped in this class, and his skill set would continue to add to this backfield for sure.
Yeah, facts. And then I can give you somebody that's going to play right away to answer your question, and that's going to be Josiah Trader, Joe Trader. He's going to play immediately because right now we need not that we need it. That's the next luxury to have, is to have that consistent, you know, one-on-one battle one with the head top and for the end zone, for the red zone and things like that. So I think he's going to play and have an effect because he might have some of the best ball skills I've ever seen. I coach for Raw, and you know he plays for SFE, so it sucks to see it. But bro, like, I was just seeing some of his ball skills. I was like, oh my god. Then you see him more in person at the Tutu Atwell camp, and I see him in games, and it's just like he just catches everything. His ball skills are insane. Like he's never covered. So I think that's going to be something as freshmen. Sometimes it's hard to get separation when, you know, guys are maybe beating you a little bit more at the line of scrimmage because their strength. But if he doesn't have separation, it doesn't even matter because he's going to catch that ball. So I think he could probably be an impact player. And I think they're going to change this rule really quickly due to everybody voicing their displeasure of it. So hopefully they do, and then you'll see a guy like that get plenty of snaps as a freshman.
Definitely. Armando Blunt, I got to ask you about him because you did a video breakdown about him. We'll see if he reclassifies to this class. You know, that may change the discussion a little bit. But what do you project him as? I mean, how does he compare to a Reuben Bain? Because he looks a little longer to me, but similar inside outside versatility down the line, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar inside outside. It's just different body type. So like, yeah, the play style and like their role should be very similar. What they should, when they're talking to Armando Blunt and saying, "Hey, this is how we're going to use you," they should be rolling Reuben Bain tape, you know, or Akeem Mesidor tape. You should be rolling the guys that you have on the outside and also put them inside in pass rushing situations and show them, "Hey, we can get you sacks inside easier." You know, boom. That should be exactly what you're showing them. I seen him a lot. Dillard, he played my little brother's school, Ely, twice. Our quarterback ran a 4.5, and he caught him on his own read like 3 times. That was the first time I was like, damn, bro, like Jesus, bro, like sliding, like that was my first like real impression of him. But he's been doing it since a freshman. Everybody's heard of him. When that year that I'm talking about, that was a sophomore year. He's having his junior year now. He had 16 sacks that year, and he was the most dominant player on the field. And I remember the last time I felt like that. I was at American Heritage versus Central, and it was Reuben Bain, and I was like, yeah, that's just that feeling you get. Different body types, but the way they go about their business is very similar. They make everybody know that they're there. I mean, already at Miami Central, he transferred from Dillard over there. He had a 5-sack game with a return touchdown. I mean, he's impacting insane.
A lot of it with those guys is like they really know how to use their hands, manipulate leverage, very advanced for their age, you know.
Yeah, and his play strength, he'll just bully you, like low key, like his hand placement. It don't matter where his hand touch you right here, you're going that way. Like at this
Right.
level right now, they're going that way. He's a bully. That's the thing that really separates him and Bane is if he can't win off speed or quickness on a certain rep, or maybe a good, a tackle gets a good get off and he's able to kick slide and cut that lane off and that dip off. Can you just push his ass back? And that's what separates them, because when you can push them back consistently, that means okay, we can put you inside because now we know you can hold up, but we're only going to put you inside for you to pass rush. But just in case they try something, we know you can hold up.
Shout out to Gio Milian.
Good, fam.
Yep, Life Wallet does a great job with Life Wallet Sports, of course. Everyone, that Central Chaminade game is about to go on now.
Yeah, I believe it started already. What's it called?
There was a weather delay, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was a weather delay. My little brother's there. A bunch of them are raw players on Central, so I'm rock block. Even though Chaminade's from Broward, I'm rock block tonight.
What's your prediction?
I'm not gonna lie. Coach Shu, we work on offense together. That's our offense coordinator, and he a brilliant dude, and he got them receivers right. But I don't know, Central's been a little shaky a little bit this year at the trenches. But
yeah,
I love their quarterback AJ. He played with us raw. Obviously, they receiving core Ace Money and Quan Coleman 2025. Khalil Sterling 2025, and then everybody knows 2024 target FSU commit Lawayne McCoy. They have a very explosive offense, and even on their defense, we got Sekou Smith, 2025 safety. Miami needs him. They already offered. They're on him. Most range you'll see out of a safety. Funniest kid you ever meet, but the most range you'll see out of safety in down here, and that's insane because we have great athletes down here. J Rock, Javari Flowers, 2026 cornerback with every offer. Amari Wallace, 2025 4-star corner and nickel with every offer you could think of. We're going to have to beat Alabama straight up and USC straight up for him. But yeah, that Miami Central raw pipeline has been great. So hopefully them boys get the dub.
Steve, I know you were on the road with a lot of these guys, right? And did you get a chance to do some of the college visit stuff over the summer with them?
Yeah, we take them pretty much everywhere we go. We visit colleges, and some guys love to go, especially our younger guys. Some guys, the older guys, are like, nah, like I ain't going to that school anyway. But most of the schools, like we went to LSU, Miami. We took everybody to Miami. Obviously, Rob Miami, we're pro Miami as hell. Cam Kitchens coaches with us, Jaden Harris. Khalil Brantley was with us also. Still is with us also. But we're very pro Miami. We took the whole team down there to visit. So multiple guys got him one-on-one with Mario. Coach, our owner CEO, Coach Duaso. He's real tight. He's the guy, to be honest with you. So yep. we got to take him to Miami. Then we take him to other ones like we did USC. That was a funny one. I can't talk about it on air, but
I was you're kind of getting into it. But how does Miami, the experience at Miami, compare in terms of the attention that the guys are getting, even if, like you said, it may be young guys who may be 2-3 years down the line, but that experience, how is Miami giving these guys the VIP treatment?
It's great, and the money is flowing, so they're seeing everything without having to catch a flight to go see it. They're seeing it right in front of their face at home, and it's just a different bravado when Miami does it. It's a different type of feel to it when you're in Miami, because everything around you also as well, pro city, everything you could dream of. So it's forming nicely. I personally, in my gut, I don't know if I've said it on air already, I think our 2025 class might be like the best crystal ball class he's ever recruited, because the way his 2025 class is going to shape up, it's going to be hard. We're going to have to tell some top 300 receivers no. Like we're going to have to tell multiple no. And really pay attention to how much receivers we take in 2024, because we could take easily 5 studs in 2025. And depending if we only take, 2 receivers, 3 receivers in 2024, because we are in it for some guys.
Right. Especially, I mean, look, there's a good chance that Miami doesn't really lose much of the receiver spot this year. X.
Yeah, I think it's bad year for X.
Yeah, X, yes, but I think Jacoby George, Colby Young could, are probably going to stay another year, right? So X is going to be huge production gone, but you're going to bring a lot back at that position.
Yeah, you'll bring Kobe Young back. I think he'll come in for one more year of development. Then he's going to come out as a finished product, and teams are going to be ready for him. He fits the NFL game well. He's gonna project the NFL really well. Jacoby George, I don't know, like he can go. He can put up like another 10 touchdowns this year and go. But I do hope
he could.
Back. He could easily, but I definitely think he'll come back. And like you said, we'll have some returning camaraderie at that position. It'll be a nice battle. Will Bashard be able to hold off Ray and Robbie at that position, or then who would win that backup? Because I think Robbie's starting to come along to push Ray for some of those snaps that he's been getting. So there's a competition for everything. You can get 2 snaps in the game, and somebody's competing with you for those 2 snaps. Like, don't do what you're supposed to do them 2 snaps. Like, then it's gonna turn into 1 snap and then 0 quick.
Right. No, and Bashard just seems like a guy who's taken advantage of the opportunities he's gotten thus far. So it's a long season, but I think he's gonna continue to get himself in the mix.
Yeah, and that's a kid, another guy who was the shiny toy, and we know when we had Wiggins and Pope, and we were all like, oh, get rid of those guys, which I get, and then we got this guy, and then when they haven't seen much of Bashard. And then it was the Ray was the new toy, and I get it because I love Ray, and everybody does. And then they're waiting for him to steal snaps, or they were waiting for it before the season. They were still talking about Restrepo is not the best or whatever. We need to put they're still saying that stuff, but that's just what it is. I think the way that Bashard is just stepped up and he's going to be able to fend that off right now. I love it because that means the competition got to him. It clicked. And like you said, he's taking advantage of all the opportunities. The kick return, that was big. That was huge. I mean, it blew the top off. Hard Rock, we were going crazy. It was our first kick return touchdown in over a decade since like Stacey Coley or Duke Johnson. So it was finally nice to see us take one back. And the way he's playing on offense, I love it. He looks fast again. Like, at times last year, I was like, damn, why is he not just burning this guy? Now he's smoking.
Definitely. No, he looked like he looked in high school on his tape, right? Gio had a comment here talking about, I guess, the class next year, the receiver class next year.
I know too. I can't. We not.
Listen, the Canes fans are gonna hate you two for teasing it, but this is good in the long run, right? This means that the Canes are on some top dudes next year. At that position.
Me and Gio were just talking about it on the phone not long ago. Like, it's crazy though. 2025 is going to be, especially at receiver. KB might build a statue for that boy.
And shout out to obviously a couple guys that are there also with the receivers, David Cooney and Don Varner, who both play a big role as well. Coach Cristobal gave them a big shout out this weekend. You being a receiver guy, you know how important those other guys are in the room.
Yeah, facts. I mean, when it comes to relationships and recruiting, Coach Cooney's been that guy for Miami for a long time. He's gotten like the analyst role for receiver, then he's been back in the recruiting department. Personally, I'm happy for him to be back there, especially with Coach KB. It's just probably just the best vibe you can get. Coach Varner was with the running backs. He was a receiver, so now he's going back to his natural position. He was with the running backs last year, so it's a nice little vibe going on over there. They just all happen to be good recruiters, so it's just a great vibe. All 3 of them, bing, talking, all the time. Like they're great. I trained with Kobe Howard in a 2025 big target that's just transferred down here to Broward County playing at Western. Coach KB, the way he recruits them, it just makes me feel like, okay, man, like, if a guy doesn't come, maybe it's just heart with somewhere else, but there's nothing that he could do more. And it just giving out free game. Like, he coaching already. Like, you on the target list, you getting coached up. Like, he already coaching, talking releases, getting this going. Like, and every recruit says that. Like, every recruit says that's just what he is.
And it's awesome to see his growth, obviously, because this is his second stint as the receivers coach at Miami, and I think that he's learned a lot in the time between, right? And he's always been a relationship guy, but I think he's really mastered the craft now, and that experience is helping him big time.
Yeah.
And Stevo, it looks like the game. I didn't even realize the game's on ESPN.
Yeah, it's on ESPN.
I'm gonna watch that over the NFL game. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know. I got everybody. My group chat's buzzing. We're ready. I was kind of like, damn, with that weather delay, I thought it wasn't gonna make it. They were talking about 9 p.m. kickoff, and then my little brother texted me. He was like, no, they're stretching now. They're about to warm, and I can't wait to see what happens. Hopefully, Rockets get that. But yeah, I'm definitely watching that. Even though it's the 49ers, I'm still watching. That's the best South Florida has to offer right there.
I might have to listen. I might have to set up a couple screens for this one.
I got the YouTube TV on the phone.
There you go. We'll be on the same thing. Well, listen, we'll wrap things up now, so the fans can head over and watch that. But again, Canes fans, Stevo from 365 Canes Football on YouTube does awesome breakdowns. We're going to continue to do a lot of this, cross branding. He's been a contributor to CanesInSight for a while, and definitely you'll see his face more around here. But go subscribe to his page, like his videos, and then follow him as well on social media. Stevo, man, awesome insight from you. Appreciate it. And we'll definitely do this again, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys for having me, man. Love the CanesInSight family. Can't wait to. I'm always still on the message board. People always be at me and stuff, especially when it comes to receiver stuff. But I can't wait to keep putting the content on the board, and just love everything we're doing and the trajectory of everything, man. Appreciate you, fam.
Yes, sir. Stevo, appreciate the time tonight. Go Canes.
Yes,
Canes
go
fans,
Canes.
appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight. Let's go see what happens in this Chaminade Central game.
And hopefully there's some future Canes.
Yep. It looks like JoJo already made a play according to Gio. So let's go see what it is.
Ooh, already I picked the right one.